This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 181. This is a solo one, so let's just jump right into these new listens in new locations. First up is Imperial, Missouri. Or is it Missouri? Episode 175, Embraced and Reframe. That was the solo one. Next up is Stewart's Draft, Virginia. You listened to episode 176, one of my favorites. Midlife Crisis with Larry Bellata. Fulton, Mississippi. You're up after that. That was episode 176 as well. And last, but sure as fuck not least, Barcelona, Spain. Episode 179 is Indifference the Goal. Before I jump into story time, I want to address this one a little bit. I actually listened back to this one for a reason that I'll explain later. And I do that sometimes. Not very often, but when I went through the editing process, I thought that was a pretty decent one. And then I listened back to it again in a different kind of way. And I was like, I don't know if that one was not the context or not the content. Just I think my delivery. I think I was pretty fucking tired and I think it was a little choppy. So it could have been better. But that's not why I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because I got a comment in the Discord that from a listener, from a supporter, from a brother who said he didn't really understand that episode. And I understand that. I understand that comment. You know, this stuff is hard. This stuff is devastating. It's destruction of your life. And to be able to get to a place of gratitude seems counterintuitive or invalidating or shitty. I understand why you may think you can't get there or you don't even want to get there. I understand that. But as time has gone on for me and I've done more work and more healing and I've looked at this and I've thought about what do I want to, what's the outcome that I want from this? And this is just me. I don't or try not to prescribe my worldview to anybody else. I think if you listen, you probably share a little bit of it, but you don't have to. You don't have to be where I'm at. You don't have to see things the way I see them. But for me, I want to be able to look at this thing and go, this happened for a really important reason. I'm glad this happened because of X, Y, and Z. And that X, Y, and Z, I don't want to have, at least at this point, I don't want it to have anything to do with a new relationship. I want it to be something that I achieved or a piece that I was able to get to or a better self-esteem, whatever it is. I want it to be a big and important thing and to look back and be grateful for it. Let me be clear here. Not to be grateful to her, fuck her, but to be grateful for the journey. And I don't, and why? Why is that important? There's a couple reasons. One, because again, I want it to have meaning. I want there to be a reason. And I don't think I get to that without being grateful for it. I don't think. Again, you may be able to, or maybe this just isn't how you want to view it. That's number one. Number two, when I started thinking about really successful people, and I'll bring it into the sports world. We look at Derek Jeter or Michael Jordan. When they won one championship, they weren't like, that should do it. That's enough for me. And so I looked at indifference and I thought, okay, that's a decent place to get to, but is there something better? Do I want more than one championship? And the answer to me is yes. And so I looked beyond indifference and said, okay, well, what is after that, or what could be after that? And it's gratefulness. It's grateful for the journey, not to her. Don't mistake my gratefulness for gratefulness to the person that destroyed your life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the journey that led you to be a better person and a better man. And that's why I want to focus on gratefulness. And there's a whole host of studies and things that back up how being grateful can lead to a happier life. I didn't pull any of those studies, but I encourage you to. They're out there. So I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on that. The headline of this episode is a story, You probably have read, is going to be CMFT, and some of you might be thinking, what the fuck is that? Well, it stands for Corey motherfucking Taylor. Longtime listeners know that I have wanted to interview Corey for a very long time. And why is that? Because of the song Snuff. If you've never listened to that song, it's a Slipknot song. Corey wrote it essentially about his first divorce. And the lyrics in that song hit every fucking emotional note that you can have in divorce. He starts off feeling sorry for himself and feeling like he didn't deserve to have this woman. And it eventually gets to a point where he says things like, "You sold me out to save yourself." Uh, like, save your breath. I will not care. I think I made it very clear. I mean, I could go on and on. You couldn't hate enough to love. Every fucking feeling I felt was captured in that song, and I just wanted to talk to him about that song more than anything else. Not because he's famous, not because I'm a Slipknot fan, or Stone Sour. I like both bands a lot, but I was never a big Slipknot fan or Stone Sour. It wasn't really until the divorce and I heard Snuff and really listened to the lyrics and watched him play it live, or not. I mean, I did get to see him play it live once in person, but I mean, there's a YouTube clip of him playing it in London, and I think he actually released it on his last B-side album. And it's just him and the guitar, and it's he's if nothing else, Corey's got this amazing ability to convey his emotions through his voice and his words, and that song just that made me feel validated because I had all the feelings. I had anger, I had sadness, I had depression, I had these feelings of I'm worthless. I wasn't good enough. It's all my fault. To fuck you for giving up. To I fucking hate you. All of them. And I felt like that song captured it. It made me feel like someone out there was feeling what the fuck I felt. And so I've tried many ways to reach him. The ways that I could think of. I tried to message other people and did talk to other people that had him on their podcast. Some people responded and some didn't. That led me to different charities that he works with, and nobody responded on that front, which is fine. I had on Tom. If I'm being completely honest, I had on Tom Arnold because I knew that Corey and Tom are friends, or at least friendly, because Corey did his podcast. Anyway, what the fuck is my point? A few weeks ago, or maybe it's been 4 to 6 weeks ago, I got a message from a friend that said, "Hey, I'm going to be at this horror convention and Corey Taylor's going to be there. Do you want his autograph?" And I said, "Fuck no, I don't want his autograph. I want to meet him. Where is this?" So they gave me the details. And last Friday, I think it was last Friday, it all fucking runs together. I drove to Cincinnati, about an 8 hour drive for me, and on a Friday morning, and stood in line for a little while, and I got to meet Corey Taylor. And the first thing I said to him is, "I want to thank you for Snuff. It really meant a lot to me. It helped me. One of the things that helped me get through my divorce." And I said, once I got to a better place, I wanted to give back too. And I started a podcast. And I don't know if it's appropriate to ask you in this setting, but I'm going to ask you, man, can you come on, please? And I had a one sheet, which is basically like an advertisement for the a podcast, but my podcast, obviously. And he said, "Yeah, I just have to be careful about talking about certain things." And he said something specific, and I'm not going to repeat it. And I said, "This is essentially what I said because I don't want to repeat it verbatim and give you any kind of clue." I said, "This is what I want to talk about," and I had questions already prepared. I wanted to talk about Snuff, and I wanted to talk about mental health. And he said, "Can I keep this?" I had two sheets of paper, the one sheet and the questions. I said, "Fuck yeah, you can keep it." I said, "But actually, I usually email this to people. I didn't even think about it. I don't have my contact info." And he's like, he handed me a Sharpie. He's like, "You fill that out, or you write on that. I'll write on this." And he had the picture, and he was going to sign it. And so he's like, "Man, there needs to be more of this, especially for men." And I was like, "Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. I've been in 127 different countries." And I said, "I'm not I'm not making any fucking money, but I don't really care because I'm really helping guys. He's like, that's awesome. Um, he said you'll hear from me, or I'll be in touch or something of that nature. Now I don't know if he will. I hope he will. If he doesn't, I'm not going to be pissed at him. He's obviously a busy dude. He's got a lot going on. But that's not where the story ends. Because so I stood in line for the autograph and a few minute conversation, and then I pre-purchased the photo opportunity. I knew that that was going to be a quick. You can't really talk too much, so that's why I did the autograph thing. Um, so I stayed around this horror convention for a couple of hours, walking around, waiting for the photo op. And I got up there to you kind of you stand in line and you weave around and there's curtains and backdrops and walk up and he's like, "Hello again." I was like, "Hey man." I said, "Don't forget about the podcast." He said, "Definitely not." Or something of that nature. I don't know. I can't remember what he said. It's like kind of all the blur. And I don't know why, but I for some reason thought he was going to shake my hand. But he didn't. And he, kind of gave the devil horns, and I didn't know what to do with my right hand. So, and there's photographic evidence to this shit. For some reason, Michael Rhodes put his hand on Corey Taylor's fucking stomach, and I don't know why. Um, and when we got the picture taken, and I stepped back, he's like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna hear from me. I got your stuff. I kept it." And he shook my hand. He's like, "All right, I said, "Thanks, brother." And that was it. I kind of I walked off and I thought to myself, what the fuck did I just do? Now, to his credit, he didn't blink an eye. Um, and I went and got the picture and I'm looking at it and I'm walking around. I'm like, what the fuck? And his wife happened to be there. She was also at the convention and I was walking right by her and I stopped and I just said, I think I just manhandled your husband. And I showed her the picture and she busted up laughing. She was like, "Oh my God, I love this so much." And she showed her friend. She took the picture from me. She showed her friends, and she said, "Oh my, look at this! It looks like a prom picture." And she was like, this is so awesome. I love this." She's like, "What's your name?" And I introduced myself, and I said, I just love Corey so much. I love the song Snuff so much. Really, one of the things that helped me through and through my divorce. And I said, I'm really hoping I started a podcast. I'm really hoping he'll come on. And she said, "Oh, I'm sure he'd love to." And we had a really great conversation, very short, very quick, but it was just a positive experience all the way around. And again, I have no idea if he'll come on, and if he doesn't, that's okay. I can assure you, I will do it if I had to do it again, I would do it again. Like he was so fucking nice. If he would have said no, that would have sucked, but I would have been like, okay, I understand. He's busy. You're a busy dude. You got a lot of shit going on, clearly, right? But if he would have been a dick, oh, I would have been fucking devastated. I would have been crushed. And he wasn't. He was the sweetest, nicest, funniest guy. He was cracking jokes. I could hear him all the way, like through the line. You could hear him. He was super nice, super friendly, and I'm hopeful. I don't know. Um, I again, I would do it all over again, and I will. Uh, but I have no way. I just don't know. So, Corey, if you're listening, come on the fucking show, would you? Please, sir. Uh, um, I think I was so nervous. If I had it all to do, if I could do it all over again, I would have said things a little differently. I wouldn't have, like I was talking about how many countries has been listened to and maybe that was the wrong approach. It probably was. I probably should have just focused on, the mission. But the one sheet has all the information on it. But it has the mission. It has topics discussed. It has guests that have been on, including Tom Arnold. And I said I did have a friend of yours on, Tom. And maybe I would have done it a little differently, but I'm just glad I actually got to meet the guy. I mean, I don't know him, obviously. There isn't much in this one. I just wanted to tell that story, convey my hope that he'll come on, my excitement if he does. I gave him some basic questions just to sort of show that I'm interested in some serious type topics, not interested in like the salaciousness of his divorces or, who was at fault or, you know, any kind of bullshit. I'm not interested in that. I mean, you guys all know that, but he doesn't. Maybe he does now if he's listened to a few episodes. But I just wanted to sort of show that, like, I want to have a serious discussion about what you went through in hopes that it helps people. And so I'm sure that I will, as I do, dive in even deeper, on certain topics around mental health, around his feelings about the song. Now that it's been, X number of years, how does he feel about it now when he sings it? And I know the song means a lot to him because the bass player in Slipknot, Paul Gray, passed away, and apparently Paul was very not pushy. That's not the word. He was very encouraging about bringing that song to the band. And so, if it wasn't for Paul, there might not be a Snuff, or maybe it would have come out many years later, or maybe never. I don't know, but and I know, and he's talked about that a little bit. So I wonder if the song has changed meaning a little bit. I saw him play it about 2 years ago in New Jersey with his full band, and I cried. If I'm being completely honest, I cried, and I noticed though when he was done, he was sitting down playing guitar, and when he was done with the song, he took a big deep breath. And I wonder what he's thinking right now. Is he thinking about Paul, or was he thinking about the shit that he went through when he wrote that song? So I think that's all I got for this one. I really just kind of wanted to tell that story and expand a teeny bit on why I want to get to gratefulness. So until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.